Hello and welcome to this Town Talk special. As usual, I'm your host, Stephen Downs, and I'm with Mr. Kane Hall and Mr. Callum Scott to review the latest all goings on at Huddersfield Town. It's been a lovely week for Town. We've had two magnificent wins against 10 men in two sides. We still haven't got a striker that can't score a goal, and now we've worked out that Josh Karoma can't take a penalty. But yeah, good evening, gentlemen. Hopefully my Wi-Fi turns up as much as what Town did at the weekend. Callum, we've not had you on for about a week. We've still got no Zach. Don't know where he is in the world. Might be in Bermuda somewhere now. But Callum, how are you doing today?
I am fabulous, mate. How are you?
Not bad, not bad. And Kane, how are you doing, my friend?
Yeah, steady away. Thank you, Steve. Steady away.
Good. Well, we've got another special guest on the show apart from these two lovely stand-up gentlemen. We've got Sue Gallop from Charlton Live. Hello, Sue.
How are you doing? Back again.
She's back again. She was on the channel for those that do are a regular watcher of the West Yorkshire Football Show. Sue delightfully joined us for about 2.5 hours. And to be fair, Sue, you were one of the last ones to remaining on that lovely League One preview that we were on with about 17 other fans. So once again, thanks for joining us for that. But also tonight to in your circumstance, slightly disappointing circumstances to lose the game to Huddersfield Town. But what was your thoughts of the game at the weekend, first of all?
I think we've always struggled up at yours historically. I think we've always it's just such a tough place to come. And I think obviously going down to 10 men didn't help in the first half. We've not been playing. I mean, I'm just reading your top banner about unbeaten in 7, but doesn't feel stable. I think we've obviously lost more than you because you're that much higher than us in the table. But I think we've had a similar sort of where we're not playing amazing. We're drawing quite a lot of games, and we've lost quite a few more recently. I think Saturday, I don't feel like you necessarily were at your best. And I feel like we actually played better when we went down to 10. We got the penalty, obviously, and then we had a couple of chances sort of later on in the second half. But yeah, I mean, I just think I actually came away from it. Like I did our pod on Sunday, and I actually said, like, to be down to 10 men and only lose 2-1 is not awful. You want to win every game or at least get a point. But I think you could have if you'd been at your best, you would have battered us.
Yeah. I mean, Charlton have started games badly from what I understand, and you didn't start the game too well on Saturday. Matty Pearson rose highest, Kane to get a big header in. Could have scored another one 2 minutes later with another superb header, but that hit the bar sadly, and we kind of felt on top at that stage, didn't we?
Standard Matty Pearson, mate. You know, let's just not go back to what I said weeks ago when he should have been in the team when he won. Comes in, bangs in goals. So disappointing for him that he's injured. I thought his header, his goal was so hard. Technically, the ball was behind him. It was quite flat. The way he got around it, underneath it, then over on top of it, the neck muscles in there to get real underneath. Superb goal from him. In fact, the second one was easier. And how is it the crossbar? Whoa, so unlucky. So unlucky. But the thing is with Matty again, what I saw from him was he added that bit of urgency, that bit of energy that Town needed early on. I think there was a throw down the right-hand side. And he sprinted down because he either wanted to take it or he wanted it quick. And that's the difference. And how long have we been saying that Town just play it slow? Now, Sue, you say that Huddersfield didn't seem at the best. That's just the way they play. No one knows what the best is at the moment because it's so slow and it's so hard them to get into anything. What I listened to with Michael Duff afterwards in the press conference, I quite enjoyed his press conference on Saturday because he was talking about, sometimes the lads are having to pick options and be patient with them. And I can totally see that. I get it. I understand what he's saying. We know that I'm not a fan of this formation. But then as well, he understands there's quite a lot going on at the club. And he's got a lot to do. And he's trying his best with what he's got. And I mentioned before about performance and result. Was it the performance that everybody wanted? Maybe not, and that's probably, Sue, why you think that that Charlton possibly could have got something, and you've come away only it being 2-1. That's because performances haven't exactly been there for Town, but it was a result, Steve. And again, it's a result with a lot going on at the club, which Town need.
Callum, you had a great view. I don't know if you went to the game. I presume that you did, but you would have had a great view of that first goal, and that really, when that went in, I kind of thought, and then he had the second header. I thought, right, well, we're kind of up for this, and maybe Charlton have come here on a bit of a cold day, with snow and all that around, and they're not really up for it.
Yeah, it looked to all intents and purposes that once we get that first goal, then right, you start stamping your authority on the fixture. You try and go and get another goal. But we did the thing that has frustrated me more than most this season, in that we get one goal and then we keep trying these intricate passing moves and holding the ball up. And a lot of that is because at the minute this squad is getting weaker and weaker by the game, more and more injuries, and players are not in a settled starting 11, I don't think, yet, even now. So they don't necessarily know who they're looking for. So you find a lot of the time that they'll hold on to the ball, they'll turn their back, they'll try and keep the man off the ball just so that we still hold possession while they're looking for an option. Whereas once you've got a settled starting 11, that becomes a whole lot more fluid. Players know where the man's going to be, know they're going to be picking up, and know where they need to be to make it happen. So I think that's maybe why we didn't see us put our foot to the floor and sort of go for the jugular.
But on the 36th minute, Sue, the game, I thought, changed in a sense, and you rightly point out that you guys played better probably with 10 men than you did with 11. But the sending off, I know as your skipper, you expect maybe a little bit more discipline from who is a good player as well in Doherty. And I think looking back, that from our guys' point of view, obviously we can discuss it now, but did you think it was a sending off? And some of the Charlton players looked a bit shocked when the ref pulled out the red card.
I think it's a tough one, isn't it? Because we have the sort of benefit of maybe watching it back after the referee has to make that decision in that moment. But I feel like, because he wasn't studs up, and I feel like although he didn't get the ball, to me it didn't look like a dangerous tackle, like challenge, and I think normally that would have been a yellow. But I mean, I sort of saw a lot of your fans were sort of commenting on how dirty we were and stuff. We're not a dirty side. We're quite, well, like as you lot like to say, we're Southern softies. We have got a bit more grit to us now since we've been under Nathan, but that is still an area that we need to improve on. So I wouldn't class us as a dirty side, but yeah, I think it was a bit harsh. The red, and I probably would say that because I'm a Charlton fan, but I think when you look at some things, you go, "Oh yeah, that's a red," but that one was a little bit on the border for me. So I don't think.
Do you think that Callum, that Lomvik, being down as he were, and then he did jump up, to be fair, about as soon as the red card was shown, he jumped up and jogged down the line, didn't he? Do you think it was for me, it was the intent. I think Sue's right that really the studs weren't showing as in a traditional, what you would say as a red card challenge, but he did steamboat through Lomvik, didn't he, in a sense?
Yeah, it's quite a lot of it in the modern game is the appearance of the challenge. it might not be actually such a terrible challenge, but he's steamed in. Longvight's made a meal of it. Obviously, he's going to. He's rolling around on the floor. Player gets set. As soon as that red card comes out of the pocket, he's up and he's fine.
Yeah.
You know, and Charlton fans will be saying that's diabolical. We'd be saying it were diabolical if it were a Town player that got sent off and a Charlton player that jumped back up. So these are just things that happen in football, and I think we've just got to enjoy them when it's us and be really angry about it when it's not us.
True. Ken, your point of view from the commentary box, what did you see of it?
Yeah, well, I didn't see it at first because I'll be honest with you, I was trying to look at the weather and the rain, see that was coming down because I can remember it. I just saw people on the floor and then the red card come out. Watched the replay and I thought it's not a red card. His studs out showing. He's barely touched him, and obviously he's making a meal out of it. But then again, I thought the referee had a very interesting game because the penalty for me at first wasn't. I thought it was a pen at first, watching live from where I was, and then I watched it, and again I thought the Charlton play had already started going down. Again, it's something I need to watch back, but I thought it was a mixed game from the ref, and I can see why he's giving it, but I do think it was a bit soft. And also in terms of what you were saying, Sue, I think Charlton they've toughened up. They made it a physical game. It was a battle between both attackers and defenders. I don't think there were much of a battle in midfield, but in either third there was, and we saw that with the big lad up front for Charlton. I can't remember his name. Liburn, is it? You know,
Miles.
He wanted a big physical game. Then Hellick came on and took that away from him. And then same on the other side, Reece Healy was getting involved a lot until he had to go off, which was just standard. But hopefully Steve will come on to our strike force.
Yeah, we'll come on to the strike force and the injuries. But Sue, I think you make a fair point, and probably it's been a bit unfair from our lot. So if there are any Town fans watching, let's go easy on Charlton. They are a smaller club. No, I'm only joking. But in terms of you're not. I don't class Charlton as a dirty side, and I didn't think you were dirty on Saturday. If I'm honest, I think it's just one of them that, again, a bit like the penalty, Sue. The player's given the referee a decision to make, hasn't he? And when you got the penalty, you must have been absolutely loving it, because I knew that the lad were going to score, and probably every Charlton fan did as well. He don't miss penalties, does he?
No, Matty's quality in those sorts of situations. And I think with him as well, we're starting to see that because we've had, similar to yourselves in terms of injuries, we haven't had a consistent starting 11 since the beginning of the season. So we've really struggled with injuries with key players. And I think Matty was on the bench for quite a while to begin with, and then we've had injuries happen. So he's come in and he's really sort of making a shout for that starting place on a weekly basis now. So yeah, you'd put your ass on him scoring a pen all day long.
And you get that goal, you're back in the game now. You go into half time 1-1. I mean, were you kind of thinking, look, with the way the first half of the first half went, where we kind of Town with the more dominant side with the chances, and you guys had filtered into the game, got the penalty, the sending off had happened. Were you feeling quite confident that you could get something, or how were you feeling?
I think it not really, if I'm honest, because again, we know what a tough place it is to come. You like to hope, like we have this saying, don't we? 10 men always play better, because it's like they've got to make that much more effort. But then it's like, another 45 minutes with only 10 men, that's a long time to play with a man down. So I think it was one of them, was like, you know what, I personally at halftime was thinking, right, if we get a draw out of this, I'm happy days. So yeah, I didn't see the performance come in the second half. I guess that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
I didn't think because you just run out of legs, didn't you? I think people started cramping up towards the end, because again, we had a couple of players that have been out for quite a long time and are now starting to have game time, but they can't last the full 90. So yeah, it surprised me that we did as well as we did in the second half.
Callum, obviously, in terms of the second half, Charlton came out and really really took it to us, really, and should have scored a number of chances before, obviously, Kasumu put it in the back of the net.
Yeah, and we looked under pressure, which I think serves to highlight two things. One of them is how we struggle against a well-organised side for a long period of time. And, when you go down to 10 men that early on, you certainly do have to be well-organised. I think we did struggle with that and trying to maintain that. But then Kasumu gets that goal and, it's a great strike, clean strike, goes all the way through. And that knocks knocks the wind out of the sails of Charlton, because at that point with 10 men, that to come back again is going to be sort of an unsurpassable mountain to climb. And I think then that allowed us to sort of not take our foot off the pedal necessarily, because I don't believe that it was fully on it, but it allowed us that little bit of breathing space, because then Charlton took their foot off the pedal trying to chase the game a little bit, and it sort of flattened out for both sides.
Yeah. Kane, looking at the goal, I mean, Herbie Kane does great, doesn't he, on the edge of the area to, swing back and then have the vision to see Cass on the edge of the area.
Yeah, I mean that game was only going to go one way at half time. Knew exactly what the game plan was going to be from Charlton. Come out, defend. That's it. Come out, defend. It would have been silly for them to come out and go all attacking. I think Town are a bit too dynamic in the middle. And I think with the sending off of the Charlton captain who was in midfield, they would have to make some drastic changes. And I just knew when they come out and didn't make a change at half time, they were happy to sit there.
But they had the chances. They had the chances, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. But every team's going to have chances against Town. That's just the way it is. So I was quite comfortable with that. David Kasumu, great goal. Great to see him scoring again. And he got the man of the match. But I mentioned the man before, Herbie Kane. He was outstanding at the weekend. He was absolutely outstanding. He was superb. He was certainly the best player in the park for the last half an hour of the game. Did exactly what he needed to do for the first hour, but the last half an hour, it was absolutely brilliant. And he deserved that assist. And it's just nice to see Kasumu playing with a bit of confidence. I think he deserved that. We're seeing a different part of his game now, where I mention all the time how much of an engine he's got in him, but he's now showing different parts of his game as well. And to see him get up on the edge of the box and having a go, taking a dig was superb, because the strikers weren't going to win it for us.
No. We'll come on to them. Sue, before we let you go, just give us a bit of a round off then of how you're kind of feeling with things going into sort of the rest of the season. I know we'll come up against you down at the Valley later on in the season, but going into a heavy fixture Christmas period, as all League One clubs find it, is the fan base happy with Nathan Jones? I'll be honest, Town fans don't like him for a number of reasons. Blue Terrier has asked what he is or where is he. But yeah, what's the fact with the rest of the season too for you, or this sort of coming month up to January?
I think, as I say, a lot of teams are in the same situation with like injuries and sort of with budgets being the way they are, not necessarily having massive squads, so we're relying on a lot of our young players again. But it sounds like we've got a few coming back from injury. But again, you've got to manage their minutes, because you don't want them to come back too quick and get injured again. I think on the whole, the fan base they are querying whether we need to look elsewhere. But at the same time, as you all know, we were going through the rate of managers like one every 6 months, and you can't do that. You need to be patient. He's only had one transfer window, so I think, like, looking at January, he's hoping to strengthen in January. And again, the league is so tight. Like, we although we're like, we're 12th, I think now, or 14th, we're only like 5 points off the playoffs. So you're as close to the bottom as you are the top. So it's not, I don't think anyone's panicking. I think
did they like Nathan? Do you like Nathan?
I love him. I absolutely love him. I love the passion. I love the energy. I could see why he would irritate opposition fans. But again, as I've said on the Charlton pod, there's got to be something about him, because bearing in mind how many ex-Luton players come and signed for us, that players wouldn't go and sign for a team if they played under the manager and they didn't like him. So I know when he was our development manager years ago, the lads absolutely adored him. So I think you all see this persona in the media, and on the pitch side, he's a very different person behind the scenes. So I think, at the moment, the fan base on the whole are behind him, but there are some that are getting quite impatient in terms of the performances. But the same as what you've already said, if you're getting results, the performance would come second. But we're not even getting those at the moment. So, but we got a win last night, so hopefully we'll start pushing on now.
Yeah. Well, it's been great to have you, Sue, and thanks very much for coming on the channel again. Really do appreciate it. And I'm glad that we just didn't keep you here for 2 hours like the last time, to be honest. You can go and have an early night this time, Sue. But honestly, best of luck. And, if there are any neutral fans or town fans out there, do go out and check Charlton Live for the podcast in terms of when we come up against you guys, because what you guys do is an absolutely terrific format. We've kind of tried to hook onto that, and you just best of luck for the rest of the season until we play you again, Sue.
Yeah, you too. Thanks, boys.
All right, see you later, Sue. Best of luck. Bye-bye.
See you, Sue. Cheers.
Well, that was Sue Gallup from Charlton Live. Absolutely lovely lady. And like I said, go check out Charlton Live for all the Charlton content. Absolutely fantastic people there. Great to have them on, lads. And so obviously we go from Charlton, the win against Charlton. I think, Duff, you sat in the press conference. Kane, you saw kind of what Duff had to say. I listened to him on the radio. I'm sure Cal did as well. And he was really measured afterwards. He kind of said, that he wasn't happy, but he was happy at the same time kind of attitude.
Yeah, like most people. Because we're not seeing... The performance were better, but I don't think we're seeing a complete performance that everybody wants to see, including Mr. Duff. So, but obviously you're happy because you're getting the points. There's still a lot to work on in the background, clearly. I've said for weeks that I don't think the players quite understand the formation. And I think that they're slowly starting to get there. But quite interestingly, what he said was that it doesn't seem that everybody's on the same... These are not his quotes, but for what I've gathered what he said, it's something along the lines of there's players who aren't bothered about the result if they're not playing. So that says to me that they're not a team at the moment either. They're not a squad working together. There's a lot of players that are like, your Ollie Turton, who's managed to get himself back in the team, Josh Ruffles, and etc. professionals. But it seems to be there's a couple of players in there as well who aren't right bothered what's going on if they're not playing. So, yeah, obviously we work to do, things to sort out on the field. Again, the positive is that it's 3 points yet again.
Callum, we go into Tuesday night, on the back of the chat.
Hold on. Before we go on to Tuesday, sorry, Cal, can we talk about how poor Josh Karoma and Reece Healy was first on Saturday?
All right. Well, also, can we add into the mix? So Josh Karoma was very poor, and Reece Healy was very poor, but unfortunately awful. Yeah, but also Reece Healy is injured again. I will ask this as a direct question now, Callum. Is it a point? What point do you get to where you have to say, I'm really sorry, thanks for being part of the club, but we'll help you find another club, but we have to pay up your contract now because you're just so injury prone that there's no point having you on the books anymore.
Okay, so you've worded that beautifully for something that we should have already done, and I wouldn't help him look for another club, and I wouldn't say thank you for all he's done, because ultimately, what has he done?
No, okay, I'm being nice. I'm being nice, Callum.
Stop it. No, you wouldn't let me say what Nathan Jones was when the lovely Charlton woman was here, so now I'm going to say what Reece Healy is. Awful.
What's Nathan Jones?
I can't say it. We'll get demonetised.
I tell you what, Nathan Jones is still in Michael Duff's pocket. We'll keep it clean.
Okay. The Blue Terrier 19 here said Josh Graham and Reece Healy being crap. Freddie Ladapo says, hold my beer.
Right. Steve,
Ken,
let me have my piece, because
I'll let you have your piece.
This has been firing up in my belly.
50 people are watching Kane live. Go on.
Since Saturday, because how has Josh Koroma gotten a start on Tuesday after his performance at the weekend? He couldn't control the ball. I don't think he made a pass. I don't think he held the ball up. It was just shocking. And Reece Healy, I think I said it on commentary, he is a waste of a wage. He's an absolute waste of a wage. I think he can finish when he's there, but what is the point? What is the actual point? Because he sprinted. He sprinted, he pulled his calf. He's getting to the point where you think you might as well play with 10 men, because when Reece Healy's there, because you know he's going to get injured. But the fact is, Koroma were awful as well. So Town played with 9 men. It's just a good job Danny Ward wasn't anywhere near squad. But Koroma, I don't get it. I don't see him as a central striker. It doesn't work. I don't think that's not him. You're asking him to hold the ball up or bring players in. That's not him. He's a selfish player. And I'm not saying that as a person he's selfish. On the field, he likes to get the ball in the final third, take somebody on and shoot. He can't do the link-up play that everybody else needs to do. I've praised him this season in terms of he's put on some really good weight. He looks strong. He looks physical, but he's not using it. I don't get how a ball can bounce off someone who's a professional footballer like it does off him. I don't want to hear the excuses, oh, he's tired, he's been away on international. No, I'm sorry. You're a professional footballer. A ball just does not bounce off you. And I know Carlin, the massive fan of Radulovic, but when he came on Saturday, right, within 5 minutes he'd done more than them two had done, because he made a pass.
He was still bad though.
On Saturday, I don't think he was that bad actually.
On Tuesday, he was horrific.
Yeah, but on Saturday, he held the ball up. He brought other people in, and listening to Michael Duff afterwards, he's like, none of the strikers have got the shirt yet. Well, no, because they're all crap.
Callum, he has said this, right? But and I know what you were saying. I know what you were saying about not being nice, but you have to do things in a professional manner, and that's what I would say. The fact is that Reece Healy has come back from injury. He's played 2.5 games, something like that, in terms of minutes, and he's already injured again with what looks like a long-term injury. I mean, listen, the lad's going to be gutted himself. He's not going to be happy about being injured, and I think if he was fit, if he's a fit striker, probably wouldn't be at Huddersfield Town, but also, he's a good player. You can't say that the lad's done it on purpose. He's just injury prone. He's injury prone,
yeah. So when you say the lad's going to be gutted about being injured, I mean, he's probably used to it by now. So, at what point do you look as a professional footballer and say, what am I doing wrong? What in my preparation or my diet or my training or what am I doing wrong? Because this isn't normal.
Some people are just naturally injury prone. And if I'm a professional footballer who's injury prone, I'm just going, have I got a contract? Then there we go. And that's probably the way some people look at it. I hope not. I hope he's looking to improve himself, because I think he'll score goals for Town. But it's not all right when he's scoring goals for Town every 4 months and he gets one and then gets injured. It's just not worth it.
I heard a lot of
And
people
again-
say that about him, that I think he will score goals. And the sort of thing that I cynically quite, I like to think about that is, what gives you that impression?
Because he has scored goals at other clubs.
And he has scored goals for Town when he's been fit.
He has had a.
We're not going to bring him out of retirement, are we?
No, but
Why
he has
not?
had a. He has had a one.
Why need to? Where's John Stead these days?
He has had a. We've got enough old strikers on his books. He has had a 1-in-2 strike rate before Callum, though. So it's not like he's not like he's a Kyle Udlin or Keane Harrott who scores once every 7 games.
Yeah, but you can't live off past successes. Huddersfield Town were in the Premier League once upon a time. We're a crap football team.
No, I think Reece Ely.
Callum's at it tonight, isn't he, Kate?
When I say Reece Ely will score goals, because when I watch him technically, he's a smart footballer. He's got good technical skills about him. You can see it when he takes a shot. You can see it when he gets in the right areas. His headers, that's what I look on when I see. I think he'll score goals. Is because when I look at him technically, I think, you are a decent player, and I can see why you've played at the levels that you have, why you've been bought by certain teams. It really is just a shame that he's got injured. Where I look at Danny Ward technically and I go, you aren't going to score me any goals.
Well, that's why you look at Josh Koroma and he's not a striker.
Yeah, I look at Josh Koroma and I go, you aren't going to score me many goals from a central area. I look at Radulovic and go, you should win a lot of the ball in the air, but you're too skinny and you're too soft. You see Callum Marshall, you go, he's going to fight for everything in there because he's got that agility about him, that balance about him, that pace about him, and he's going to cause your opposition some problems up there. And then again, you look across the line, and it's just by looking at certain plays, that Herbie Kane is going to get assists because he's so good on the ball. He's so relaxed, so calm. He will find a pass, but his touch is nice. His weight of pass is perfect. The way he finds a left foot and a right foot, he's going to make assists. That's why I say Reece Ely score goals, Cal.
And Kane, that was exactly the sort of answer that was required to shut me up. So well done.
Thank you.
Well, let's open that mouth again, Callum, with going on to Tuesday night, and we were looking to back up victory. I said on Monday's show, roundtable show, that if Huddersfield Town want to get out of this division, they need to go to 21st in the table, Leyton Orient, and win. I just don't. I won't accept that isn't what you need to do to get out of this league. I think you do. Even if it's an away game, I think you need to go there and win. We did win, but it was shaky. Although we did have the majority of the ball, we did have the majority of the chances. They created slightly less than Charlton. I think they had 1 or 2. Longvite cleared one off the line. Chapman made, I think, 1 good save in the first half. But, it was still an edgy performance. And although we got the header from Hellick, Ben Wiles missed an absolutely glorious chance. Josh Koroma misses a second penalty. And actually, Duff, after the game, said, that's it for Josh. He's not going to be on penalties anymore. He'd not even discussed it with him. He just said that to Woggy on after the game. I mean, it was, again, good to get the 3 points, Callum, but that's why I put the title 7 unbeaten, but it don't feel like it.
No, it doesn't. But, you look at a game like Leyton Orient, and for me, that's a game where we certainly need a goal-scoring striker, because then that game, if a striker that knows where the back of the net is getting on the end of those chances, that game becomes 3-4-0.
But it should have been anyway with the chances we have. Ben Wiles should not miss that chance.
It should have been, but technically speaking, Ben Wiles should have a striker up there to lay a ball off to.
Yeah, he should, yeah.
So, he shouldn't even be getting that opportunity at all. And fair play to him for taking it on. And yes, it was a poor miss, the one that we're all thinking of. But when you're asking players, it goes back to what we were saying a couple of weeks ago. When you're asking players to do things that they're not technically supposed to do, you're not going to get the best results.
But he's an attacking midfielder, and you would expect attacking midfielders to score goals, and he has scored goals this season.
He has.
But then he has missed some horrendous chances. We can go back a couple of weeks. I think there was one against Crawley that he missed, and there was one earlier in the season against Blackpool at home. When we were absolutely dire. But he should score. He
should score goals, and by rights, he should be getting that attempt against Leyton Orient. Should have been a goal. However, I think in this setup, his main job should be to be an attacking midfielder, providing support for a striker. And currently, he's not able to do that because the strikers we've got are either unreliable or have dropped back so far that Ben Wiles finds himself as one of the last men on the attack. So he has to carry the ball towards goal and try and knock it in himself.
Kane, is it a stance that we just have to be thankful that we've got centre-backs that can actually score?
Yeah, like it has been for the last couple of years. Just want to, you just mentioned about Jacob Chapman making a save early on in Leyton Orient game. Yeah. What about the save that he just going back to the weekend at Charlton at home, last minute free kick that was taken, not where it should have been taken, quickly, no one ready, comes out off his line. What a fantastic save it was, and saved Huddersfield Town from dropping any point. So we need to say kudos to him because it was superb. Now, in terms of Ben Wiles missing chances, I can forgive him because he's scored some really good goals this year. And there's been times where he has been the best performer, and he's not paid to score them goals inside the box. Someone else is paid to score them goals inside the box. He's paid to pass the ball into players in there or shoot from outside the area. And when he does shoot from outside the area, at the moment, he's doing a pretty good job of it. Let's look early on into the game when a ball came in from Ollie Turton and Radulovic scuffed it and missed it. Should have done better. And then it falls to Josh Karoma and he spoons it as well. Should have been 1-0 up after 5 minutes. So there shouldn't be any pressure on Ben Wiles to put that away. I totally get what we're saying. Should he score? Yeah, maybe he's a professional player. But I think sometimes as a midfielder, when you get so much time in a position that you're not really used to being in, it adds up and you might make the mistake or whatever. But what he did try to do against Leyton Orient was actually try and play it into a corner. Was, as you mentioned, the Crawley game, he just went straight to the goalkeeper. So
yeah.
He has tried to place a little bit more. He's used a bit more thought about it. And I'm sure if he gets the opportunity again, he'll have it in the back of the net. And he scored some important goals this year. So I can let him off. I can. I don't know if Callum can.
Would we be putting Ben Wiles on penalties if we're taking Josh Karoma off him? Which I totally agree with.
Mike Pearson or Hellick.
Right. Don't be stupid. Don't be stupid. Don't be stupid.
Penalties into the goal.
Don't be stupid.
Someone who's going to score.
It's not going to be Hellick or Matty Pearson.
Sorry, do you mind just throwing this penalty at me? So
I don't need to throw it. If Matty Pearson is going to take a penalty with his head, he'll just do a knee slide or a belly slide and get it in. I have enough faith in Matty Pearson to go and do that.
Right. If Matty Pearson ever wants to come on the podcast, by the way, we'll get Kane a T-shirt that says "I love Matty" on, and he'll wear it for the whole podcast.
Steve, what we should do is
who's the penalty taker?
Steve, we should go to the training ground and me and Matt Pearson will do like some skills together and we'll like show everybody how good we both are.
Right. Okay.
In terms of we'll
organise that.
I'll go in goal.
Yeah.
Oh my God! It'll look like that. It'll look like that time when Michael Owen scored against the 14-year-old.
Well done, he's 13.
Yeah. You know the drill. Cal in goal, and me and Matt Pearson just absolutely smashing the ball past him with his heads.
Wait about touchline with a cup of tea. Right, touchline, yeah.
And then so to the camera, Kane Hall, hospital radio.
Yeah, bit of crossbar challenge as well. So in terms of a penalty taker, Steve, number one, who's playing with confidence? Who wants to take that ball and go, yeah, I'll have that. That's my number one thing I look for. Number two, who's playing well? So for me, Ben Wiles, Herbie Kane, David Kasumu, and yeah, why not Pearson? Why not Hellick? Someone who's got the kahunas to go, I will stick this ball in back at net. Because the way Josh Corona played on Saturday, if I had anything to do with it, if I was on that pitch, I'd go, nope, because he were poor. And he doesn't have a lot of confidence at the moment. He did well. He scored some goals before he got injured. Then he got injured, being away on international duty. He's not come back like the play that started out this season. And he has lost some confidence. You can see that. Don't want an unconfident player on a penalty. Someone who's going to go, yeah, I want this. I'm playing well. I'll stick the ball in the back of the net. And also someone who's willing to aim for a corner, not just to the side of the goalkeeper.
I always remember years and years ago, I don't know if you lads do, but Peter Clark could have scored a hat-trick.
Yeah, and I don't know why he didn't have it. Theo Robinson, out of all people, taking that.
But he scored it.
Why?
He scored it. But the reason that Clark said that he did it was because Theo was going through a bad patch, and he thought if he scores the penalty, it might give him some confidence going on into the next few games. You would hope if that happens, if Koroma scores a penalty, you would hope that it gives him some confidence. He obviously didn't score the penalty and he missed it. And that's why I think Duff is probably right now to look at the penalty situation and take him off it. I personally would have Ben Wiles on them or Herbie Kane. I think they're my top two. I certainly wouldn't have any of the strikers on it at the moment unless you have Callum Marshall.
Maybe Marshall. Yeah, maybe Marshall.
But I wouldn't have anybody else on it. I certainly wouldn't have Bojan. Callum, your thoughts?
Well, you know my thoughts on Bojan, so that's out the window straight away. But yeah, I'd say somebody like a Herbie Kane or a Ben Wiles, put them on it. But you know, going with what you're saying about Josh Koroma there, yeah, his confidence will have been knocked by taking the penalty and then missing the penalty, but his confidence wouldn't have been high before the penalty either. So, you know, I don't know whether that's just a symptom of where we find ourselves at the minute as a football club, where, you know, we are unbeaten in 7 games, but confidence is not high.
Yeah. We've had a comment here from Craig. He said, come Jan, could Joe Taylor be on penalty duties? Let's hope so. I mean, we've talked about the strikers, but we might as well round it off. I mean, realistically, Kane, I think we need, and we've got 8 strikers in the building. We talked about it last week. We named them all. I think naturally we need to get rid of at least 5 and bring in 3, if I'm honest. It's not going to happen, not in January, but that's what needs to happen.
All depends on what Michael Duff and he wants to play in his formation. You know, the reason there's 8 there is because he weren't happy with some that were in, and because he needs at least 4 fresh ones to rotate for competition. But also knowing that Danny Ward gets injured when he don't want to play, or it gets too cold. And
he was ill yesterday.
Injury prone. And Josh Koroma, injury prone. Callum Marshall, very young. Bojan, injury prone. You've got to have that many players up there. Again, it all depends on formation, what Michael Duff wants to play. He just needs someone who's consistent. Like, you know, Matt Godden for Charlton would have been a superb signing. Would have been an absolutely superb signing for Huddersfield Town. You know, physical, knows where the back of the net is, experienced, rarely injured, really good professional. I'm not saying the Town players aren't really professional. I'm saying that's what Matty Godden is, and you want to be looking at someone like that. It's okay bringing Joe Taylor in, but he's a young lad. There's a lot of weight on his shoulders if he comes in. You need someone experienced who knows what they're doing. You know, someone who you put him in the box, you know he'll score a goal. Someone who's been in this league before and done it. Someone who's been in the Championship and done it. Can't really think of anybody like that right now that comes to mind. Who's scored? Who scored a lot of goals in League One and then scored a lot of goals in the Championship.
I don't know why I'm getting
has experience.
Seaside is coming to mind. I don't know why.
Yeah.
John Parkin. He once played for Fleetwood.
Yeah, I'd have the beast up front.
I'd
But,
have
someone like Jordan Rhodes would have been perfect for Town, right?
No, the comments are going to go wild now. The comments are going to go wild.
Johnson Clark Harris, thoughts?
Yeah, but he's not going to leave Rotherham now, is he? He's not. He's just signed for Rotherham, isn't he?
Why not?
He's probably Rotherham's biggest earner, and I don't know how that.
So he's on about £4.
Yes. Tony Stewart, the chairman, we do know this. Tony Stewart, the chairman, when it comes to League One, is one of the bigger hitter chairmen, and it depends how much Kevin wants to put in January. We know that, and we are going to touch on the off-field things just at the end of this podcast. But what I would say is, he spent a lot of money last January. Is that comparatively? Is he going to do that again this January? You'd like to hope so. If he wants to go into the Championship.
He needs to if he wants to go to the Championship.
And then he's got to spend a lot of money on this squad if he wants to stay in the division. But anyway, let's move on to Wigan because we haven't got a Saturday game, unfortunately, because guess what? We got knocked out of the FA Cup. So we're not playing at the weekend, but we are playing next Tuesday at home. Against Wigan Athletic, who we've played a lot in the Championship in recent years. They are currently 15th in the division on 20 points, so they are 10 places behind Town, who sit on 29 points. A difficult opponent at times, Callum, that they can be, Wigan, looking at the League One results they've had so far. But I suppose, again, we need to be beating teams that are maybe in 15th if we want to go up.
Yeah, we do. And I don't think it's necessarily... I think Wigan's situation is one of those where, Sean Maloney's built a decent side there. And I don't think their league position is necessarily indicative of the quality of players they've got at the club. However, they are where they are for a reason. And if we want to be up there, like just touching on what you just said, Nagel's laid out to Radio Leeds where he wants the club to be. If those ambitions are to be realised, we need to be beating teams that are below us in the division. There's no two ways about it.
Just for context, they've only lost one game in November, and that was 1-0 to Wycombe, who are currently top of the league. So again, they're a tough little side, really.
Yeah, I won't call them a little side, but yeah, they're certainly a tough side.
But I don't think they're a big team in terms of the height. They haven't, from what I understand, they're not they're not a team of giants. I didn't mean that they're a small club. They're definitely not in League One.
Sounded like you were calling them a small club.
Well, stop throwing me under the bus, Ken. Just answer them.
Sound a bit like that.
Just answer the question.
It did sound a little bit like that.
Also, I know what you called Sean Maloney before this went live, so
Okay, now, Callum, I'll delete you both off the channel in a minute.
It's going to be tough, Steve. It's going to be tough. Every game's tough. Every game's tough. Every game's tough, regardless if you're playing bottom of the league, top of the league. But the important thing is, Town are at home. Town are at home, and John Smith's is a bit of a fortress. We talk about atmosphere. I'm not going to go into it too much, but it's a home game. The Town are expected to go there. I think depends on how Wigan see it. Do they come across and go, yeah, we might be able to get 3 points here because we can see the vulnerabilities that Town have, or they're going to come across and go, it's Tuesday night, it's a bit cold, let's try and get a point. It all depends on the away side. I don't see Town changing too much because I'm kind of at the point now where the level of quality and performances don't excite me. And I think that's because we're in League One.
Yeah.
So I got to try and remind myself that it's not going to be the football's not going to be as good. So I know what to expect from Huddersfield. It's all now, for me, it's down to what Wigan want to come over and do. If they want to come and get 3 points, they might struggle. If they want to come and get a point, it's going to be hard for Town. I think, again, against most teams, Huddersfield Town this year, one-on-ones, Town will be the better players. system-wise, formation-wise, depends what you're up against.
Let's touch on the fact that it is a home game, and we had our new venture, or not our new venture, but the club's new venture called H-Town. I don't know if any of you tried the new facility at the ground. Callum, obviously the club have made a big effort and sort of, really gone for this in terms of a venue that, fans can use, but also the general public in terms of, for events and things like that. And I haven't been in yet, but it genuinely does look impressive. Can hold about 800 people. I think at the game there was 600. I could be wrong, or 500. So they're going to scale it up, but it can hold up to 800. And the branding and everything looks genuinely fantastic.
Yeah, I were in there before the game. And, it sort of served its purpose because I'd gone down early doors to have a look in I think I'd gone down to look for a hat in the club shop because it's getting cold and I've not got a lot going on up here. So, but I'd gone down ridiculously early. So I came out and I was like, right, there's ages till game. What is there to do? And then I remembered about this new bar. So it's already serving a purpose there. Because in the past you'd have gone, right, well, there's no around here, so I'm going to have to walk back up into town.
Yeah.
So I went in and, it's really, really good. And, maybe this is a key moment for me and maybe this is one that you should clip up and record because I'm going to say well done to Kevin Nagle and Huddersfield Town Football Club because that is a genuinely impressive facility for fans. It serves its purpose. The things as you look at when there's a new bar open. Is it a good atmosphere? Yes. The job they've done in getting it up to where it is now in terms of the decor and sort of the things that the branding that they've done, really good. Massive screens with the football on, brilliant. Bar queues, non-existent. They were going down really quickly, even when it were full. Whatever they said, it was like 700. It was busy. But there was never a wait for a drink that was that long that I experienced. Anyway, someone else might come in and say I was stood there for 3 hours waiting for a cruise camper, but I don't know. But I enjoyed it. I think it's a really good thing, and the food, although expensive, pretty good.
Do you think that it will? Obviously, you said you tried it, Kane. I don't know if you did because you obviously on commentary duty, so I don't know whether you had a chance to go in there before the game. Did you have a chance?
No, I'm not much of a drinker. I don't really drink, and definitely not having a Guinness before commentary is a good idea.
It could have warmed you up.
Anything could slip out. What I would say is...
Whoa.
Words-wise.
It's all right, it's audio anyway. You won't be able to see it.
All right. Clean.
Anyway. What I would say is, again, I've mentioned since being on this podcast, I think the club are trying to do the right things off the field as well. And having this there, with all revenues going to the club, is massive. It's so good. And I'd expect to see more kind of bars like that open up throughout the other areas of the stadium once Huddersfield Town take control, because that is what it's about. You talk about financial fair play, all that kind of stuff. And if Town do get promoted, having this and bringing their own income rather than having to pay out for rent for the stadium is massive, which means more money can be spent on players. So, we'll sit here and whinge about how poor our strikers are, but having a facility like that, bringing money into the club, allows the club to go out and buy the strikers that we so desperately feel that we need. So I think it's a really good investment, really clever one, and look forward to see other bits of this popping up around the stadium, which I'm sure there will once we get some idea of when that takeover is going to be.
I personally love the fact that they've really taken on board the fact of what fans need in this particular element. And, the fact that you can go somewhere and watch the early kickoff. And do you know what as well? I read the whole sort of press release that they put out about it. And I don't know, obviously, Callum, you sit at the other end of the stadium, so you probably didn't go in it during half time or whatever. But, you know, it was open after the game. It doesn't just shut when the game's finished. It's like it's open till 8 p.m. apparently, so you can go in there, watch the late kick-off or whatever. And, you know, hopefully it's going to become a bit of a centre point where fans can celebrate wins and, you know, big moments in our club's history moving forward. Because I just think inside, looking at all the videos and the photos and stuff like that, and from what you've just said there, that it really is a quality piece of work that they've really put time and effort into. And I'm sure, you know, all supporters really do appreciate that. Yeah, definitely. And I think the one thing I would say about it is, and this is a good position for them to be in, it just needs to be bigger. You know, there were people waiting outside and it became a sort of a 1 in, 1 out sort of thing. Yeah. And it was good, but I'm not sure I'd like queuing for it. You know, on a match day. I'm not sure I'd be down for that sort of thing. So, you know, I'm looking forward to see. Like I said, it's a good position to be in. You want the demand. You don't want to be in a position where we've just opened this brand new bar, spent loads of money on it, and there's 4 people in there. One of them's Rambo and the other one's Boothie. And Kevin Nagle. And you. And me, obviously. But what you were saying there, Kane, about the money going back into the club, I think it's good. And I really think that if we are going to sign Taylor, Joe Taylor? It's Joe Taylor. Yeah, Joe Taylor, yeah. You could do like a promo, like 2 pints of Cruz Campo to get Joe Taylor over the line. I mean, that is a great right. I'm clipping that up. The club need to take that on board. 100%. Points. We're drinking for points. Callum's already put 20 quid into the pot from the amount of pints that he probably had on Saturday. 20 quid's only 4 pints down there, Steve. Oh, well, whatever. Just a final thing on Wigan then, obviously touching back on it. Callum, what is your prediction for the match? 1-0 Town. 1-0 Town. A Josh Caroma penalty. Kane, your thoughts on the score prediction? Probably a Hellick or Pearson goal, I'm imagining. Well, it won't be Pearson. He's out injured, isn't he? So I think it's time that Tom Lee steps up and bags a goal for us. But no, I think I'm going to go 2-0 to Town. 2-0 to Town and Bojan to get 2, yeah? You're backing your boy Boj. Bojan to get 1. Oh, I hate that. And Ollie Turton to get deflection. Nice. Lovely. Well, I really appreciate everybody's time this evening on the Town Talk special. We've had over 50 people watching live. God knows why, because we've rambled on. Thank you very much to Sue for coming on. It's good quality, Steve. Stop putting it down like just because professional over here. Okay. No, but we really do appreciate you spending your time to watch the show tonight. And thanks for the people that have commented as well. Please give a like, share, and comment and all that jazz on the video. Really do appreciate the views. Well, thanks again, boys, to Callum and Kane. And we'll see you very shortly next week. I don't know if Brownie and Jay are doing a Leeds special. Leeds are obviously playing that right now. I don't actually know what the score is. 2-0. All right, okay. Well, that's just depressing. My poker face throughout this has been excellent because I've watched Celtic concede one of the funniest own goals possibly ever, and my face didn't move. So, you know. Well done to Callum. We'll get him on the poker table very shortly. But yeah, cheers, Kane. Yeah, thank you very much, matey. Yeah, cheers, Steve. See you in a bit, mate. Thanks very much, Cal. And we'll see you very shortly. Remember to watch the Monday night show, the round table, where all the lads will be back. We're actually going on a meal out on Saturday, all 7 of us, so we might create some. Oh, where we're having bites. Oh, okay. Can't what you're doing Saturday. I'm free, mate. Let's go out. We'll go out. We won't invite Steve. Where are you going, Steve? And that's the end of the programme. Thank you very much. We don't want to go anywhere where Steve's going anyway. Okay, see you later. Bye-bye.